Hello, everyone. Before I bring this story of Chystul Kizer, I would like to extend my condolences. I know I'm one in a billion to Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gigi, his wife Vanessa, the other girls, all the family and loved ones who lost their family members Sunday morning on that helicopter with Kobe. Our hearts truly go out to your spirits, love and light to you guys, as well as the loved ones and the close friends that you left behind. I was at work when this story came across the wire. The work I do and who I work for, usually when something comes across our wire like that, is true. When I first got the word of it, I was at my desk and I took about a minute to try to see if I can find some more literature on it, and I could not. So I posted on my eDodge newscast Facebook page, and I just want to show you guys this, if you can see it. If you could see that clearly, I posted that at 1:39. That was probably about a minute and a half to 2 minutes after I got it on the wire at work, after it came across our wire at work. And I couldn't find any information to validate what I had just heard was true. And then approximately 2 minutes after that, it was official. I found this on myfox8.com, and I posted that at 1:41 p.m. At 1:41, I posted again 2 minutes after the first post from the wire I heard. The only reason I'm bringing those points out to you guys is because I read a news article where the first 911 call came in to the Casablanca, I think I said that right, a Calabasas Police Department at, I believe, 10:47 a.m. I believe that's what the report I read. Even though we're hours apart, the minutes supposed to match. So I'm just not understanding why I posted at 1:39 p.m. Central Standard Time, and supposedly the first 911 call didn't go out until minutes later, approximately 10 minutes later after my first post. That's just a little weird. I'm not trying to get off into any conspiracy theories, but how was it known that Kobe was on this helicopter prior to the first 911 call? I'm not sure. Maybe my time was off on my phone. Maybe Facebook time was off. Maybe the report of the 911 initial call was just off. That's all. But again, our hearts truly, truly go out to all involved. Now, getting with this story of Chystul Kizer, as you guys know, I'm sure this is a very well broadcast story. Chystul Kizer was 17 years old when she murdered her sex trafficker, Randall P. Volar III. He was 34 years old at the time of his death. Apparently, he had been in this relationship with Chystul since she was approximately 15 years old. Clearly a minor, underage, this older guy. Chystul is a black woman now because she's 19, and he was a white male. And again, at the time of his death, he was 34 years old. So this occurred in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, specifically Kenosha, Wisconsin, I believe is where Mr. Volar lived at the time of his death. Chystul Kizer, again, was 17 years old, and she does admit to killing Mr. Volar. At first, she did not, but after she was arrested, she admitted to killing him. She's charged with first-degree murder, arson of a building, felony bail jumping. Not sure what that's about yet, but I will dig into that further. And a felon in possession of a firearm. So apparently she has some type of felony charge or convicted of a felony prior to this incident, and she had a firearm. So let me try to get into this story, and we will visit this story in much more detail later, but I'm trying to give you guys the gist of what's going on. On June 5th, around 5:30 a.m., the Kenosha Fire Department and police responded to Volar's home. They found his body badly burned, and later it was come to learn that he was actually shot in the head, I believe, 2 times. At the time that they got to his home, found his body, later in the investigation, while on scene, they realized that his BMW was missing. The BMW was found a little while later, a few hours later, in an intersection there in Kenosha or Milwaukee near 6th Street in Central, I believe. Anyways, when they took possession of the car, they inventoried the car, of course. They searched it and they found a cell phone, and they found a receipt from a Family Dollar. And I guess the time of the receipt, in the time that they found his body, they knew, let's go to this Family Dollar and take a look and look at their surveillance. Looking at the surveillance at Family Dollar, they saw 3 individuals that exited the BMW, went inside the Family Dollar, made a purchase, and things like that. There were 2 young men and 1 young female. The female was later identified as Chystul Kizer. These same 3 people, including Chystul, the cell phone that was found, they had videos in this cell phone, well, pictures in this cell phone of selfies that these 3 was taken inside of Volar's BMW. And the timestamp on these selfies were after the body was found. So clearly they had possession of this car after his murder. And again, they had questioned one of the individuals who identified Chystul Kizer as the female that was with them in the car. And when they did that, they went to her Facebook page, and the things that she was posting on her Facebook page, she pretty much told on herself that she was definitely involved with this murder. So again, she was arrested. When Chystul was arrested, she admitted to police that she took an Uber to Volar's home the night of June 4th. And she admitted killing Volar during that night because she was tired of him touching her. Randall P. Volar III started trafficking Chystul when she was about 15 years old. Yeah, I said trafficking. He was a sex trafficker, not just of Chystul, but of other girls too, that I'll tell you about later. Again, she was about 15 years old. She experienced physical and sexual abuse from Volar during the time period of meeting him and killing him. He also sold Chystul to other people, I believe all men, but it could have been women too, but to my knowledge, it was all men. He sold her for sex. He would take her to different hotels near the Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Kenosha area. So he made money off of selling her to other people for sex. That is a sex trafficker. Here's the kicker. The DA in that jurisdiction, the Kenosha Police Department, they want to lynch Chystul now. Yes, she did admit that she committed this murder, but you guys dropped the ball. Y'all dropped the ball. The thing is, months before Chystul killed Volar, he was actually arrested. He was arrested because a 15-year-old girl called the police, called Kenosha police, and said that she was afraid. She believed that Volar was going to kill her and he had drugged her. So after this 911 call to police, of course, police was dispatched to, I'm not sure if she gave them the address or just a general area, but being dispatched from that call, police found this young lady. She was 15 years old at the time. She was wandering near Volar's home in Kenosha with just a bra on and a jacket, and she was clearly under the influence of some type of drug, who she said later on it was LSD that he had given her. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to read my notes because my mind is just all over this story. So again, at the time of Volar's death, he had been under investigation for by the Kenosha Police Department for sex trafficking. During this investigation, and I believe it started on February the 12th of 2018, when they got the call from this 15-year-old girl, and they of course took her in, and I'm sure they took her to the hospital, and they started questioning her, and she told what had happened. This started on February the 12th. Volar, after this questioning, this investigation of her, was taken into custody on February 22nd, so approximately 10 days after that call from that 15-year-old girl. Before he was taken into custody, they did obtain search warrants for his home. And in his home, they found hundreds of pornographic videos featuring teenage girls that clearly looked to authorities were underage teenage girls, meaning under 18. So after, and that wasn't the only evidence that they seized at his home after that warrant was served and initiated. There were other things. So it was enough for them to arrest him or take him into custody, take Volar into custody. And that happened on February the 22nd, again, 10 days after this 15-year-old called the police and asked for help because she thought he was going to kill her that night. He was arrested on February 22nd, but he was released later on that day. He was released. We'll get to that. After all the evidence you guys collected, Kenosha Police Department, he was released. That same day, no bond, no bail, no charges. He was released, no charges. They say they were waiting to get a summons for him. They was waiting to bring charges. You have a witness who ID'd him. Not a witness, a victim who clearly is underage, drugged up, probably had sex with him that night. They didn't say in this report. What do you mean you have to get a summons? You have to get the charges going. You had everything you needed. Anyways, again, he was released on pending the summons, pending him to be charged with these crimes against this young girl. So again, she had stated to police that Volar had drugged her and she believed he was going to kill her. Police found the girl wandering near Volar's home in a jacket and a bra. She stated that she had met Volar on a site called Backpage a year prior to that. So she was 14 years old. She met him on Backpage. I guess that's some type of meeting, social network or something on the internet. Again, she was 14. If this was a year prior, he immediately started having sex with her at 14 years old. Just that allegation, just that, had she not been drugged, found there half naked, walking down the street, made that 911 call, and they had just came across her and interviewed her on this, he could have been charged on her allegation. Then prosecution would have had to prove it and all of that, but he could have been charged and detained. And anyways, they had everything. They had so much against this guy, but they let him go. They arrested him pretty much and let him go the same day. Anyway, she told authorities, this was on February the 12th, how she had met him and that she had been having sex with him since she was 14 years old. She also told them about 2 or 3 other minor females that he was having sex with and trafficking at the same time he was having sex and trafficking her, she knew about 2 to 3 other girls. And one of those other girls that she told police about was Chystul Kizer. So after, again, the interview with this young lady, police was able to gain a search warrant of his home, and that's when they found all the pornographic materials and other electronic devices and photos and things like that. They had physical evidence against Volar. So the DA got the case. Let me go back. The 911 call came on February the 12th from this 15-year-old girl. They found her. February the 22nd, they arrested Volar. And then they released him that same day, saying that they have to get the summons going, they have to get the charges going. Pretty much they have to get with the DA and do what they had to do. They could have kept him and got a warrant and filed charges that day. I do this every day. It was no reason for them to let him go, saying that we have to get this done. You got him now, get it done now. The DA did not get this case until May the 24th. February, April, May, 3 months after you guys knew who this guy was, did not even get this information to the DA's office. At least that's what the DA's office is saying. You did not get this to them until May the 24th. Okay, DA, you didn't get it to May 24th. We still just under a month before he was murdered. A couple of weeks before he was murdered. After you got it, DA, on the 24th, the ball was dropped again, because you didn't complete the summons or the discovery or everything you needed to go ahead and charge this guy until June the 5th. June the 5th is the day that Chystul just couldn't take his abuse anymore, and she killed him. Now you guys want to go after her full force. Go after yourselves too, because you guys failed her. You failed her and any other victim that he had victimized. So moving to January 2020, I believe the last time she was in court or had a hearing about her case, Chystul, was in December of 2019. Apparently her defense team is trying to, did file an appeal in the Court of Appeals there in Wisconsin to hopefully get these charges dropped against Chystul because of the circumstances of this whole case, looking at the bigger picture. There are so many celebrities, so many ex-victims of sex trafficking who is in her corner. There's a petition going on right now online at change.org. Again, change.org for a petition to clear and to release Chystul of these charges against her. Again, because of the circumstances. So many great people, YouTubers, have covered this case. This one is one that I am going to cover as well. I want to keep you guys informed as to what's going on right now. Again, is kind of at a standstill, is in or on the desk of the Court of Appeals to look at this case to see which way we're going. And because it's in the Court of Appeals and she is, physically detained right now, I believe they don't have a bond set for her. It could be months and months and months before we even go to trial or get a decision from the Court of Appeals as to what direction they're going to go with this case. So again, change.org, if you guys are really interested in helping her and giving her a voice, sign that petition on her behalf. There's a lot to this case. This guy was a predator of young girls. He was a predator. No official charges were never filed against him. But there was physical evidence that was collected that validate the one young lady's claim against him. Chystul herself is telling everything that she endured, what she went through, the drugs. Yeah, did she go back and forth? Yeah, there's a Stockholm syndrome. that is so real. You know, he provided her with material things, with monetary gain. I believe her and her family used to live in shelter. So did she allow herself to be sold? Yes, she did, but she is a minor. She's a minor. He was the adult. So he sexually and physically abused her. What do you guys think that did to her mind and her psyche at 14, 15 years old for that year and a half to 2 years that she was under him? No, the night that she killed him, she took the Uber over to his house. Apparently, she got into an altercation with her boyfriend, and probably over the past years prior to that, or the past 2 years prior to that, he was her go-to. He would make it better for her, whatever way, whether it was sexual. I don't believe it was sexual, but I think the monetary gain that she had looking at him as a friend and a provider for her, but he was an abuser of her. So she got into it with her boyfriend that night, and she Ubered to his home. But when she got to his home, he wanted to have sex. He wanted to touch on her. So, and she didn't want that. You know, she really was trying to move away from him. She had gotten older. She had got older. She was 17. She had started having a real relationship with a boy that was closer to her age than him, than this grown man. And she retreated to his house after a fight with her boyfriend, just to get away, per Chystul. And Volar, of course, thought, again, this is his opportunity to have sex with her at 17 years old. And she just wasn't having it that night. They got into a struggle, per Chystul, and she ended up shooting him twice in the head, I believe. And she burnt the house up with his body in there. His body was found badly burned in the home. But again, where was her mind after these years of physical and sexual abuse and being sold to grown men at hotels here and there? You know, that I think we should look at that. I think that's a defense for her. I really do. I really do. And then just going back to the Kenosha Police Department and the district attorney's office, you guys dropped the ball. He could still be alive. His ass could be in jail, but he will be alive. Y'all failed this girl and every other girl he victimized. All right, you guys, we will visit this story further. Just in numbers talk, when we get together and we get unified, you guys, we can move mountains. We can. Look what we did for Rodney Reed. We can do this for Chystul Kizer. If you guys believe in her story and believe that she is being victimized again by the system. Do I say she should get off scot-free? No, because she's going to need a lot of psychological help. She's going to need a lot of things mentally and emotionally to get past this so she can be a productive member of society. And she can be a advocate for sex trafficking and for young girls, but she's gonna need to get to that space first. She needs help, you guys. She needs help. So again, I don't think she should just get off scot-free, but I damn sure don't believe she should be in prison. No, not at all. She needs help, but not prison help, guys. All right. Bye again. I know I'll say bye 5 times before I really hang up. But thank you guys for joining me. We will visit this case further. There's, again, a lot more detail and circumstances and people that's connected to this case. So we will come back, the Chystul Kizer story. Thank you guys.